Okay, today we'll be talking about Yang Zings. I have that video from a few months ago where I was using proxies, and I actually finally got the deck together. Have all the cards, and we're going to be talking about my current build, some ruling clarifications that I've been given, and where the deck's going to go from here, and different variations you can play. So we'll start off by talking about Yang Zings at a glance. All the non-tuners have pretty much three basic effects. First and foremost, when they're destroyed and sent to the graveyard, either by card effect, battle, your card effect, bounce, or crashing into cards, you're going to be able to special summon another one from the deck, another main deck Yang Zing. So what we're looking at here is each one's going to have a different attribute, a different level. They're all going to be the worms, which is the new type. And what they do is they, they actually buff synchro monsters, and buffing is a term that I got from MMOs, playing a lot of WoW since 2004. A buff is a beneficial effect you give to another player, so we're going to call what they do for synchro monsters a buff. So they each can do the effect where they special summon another. They each give the synchro summon a beneficial buff. For example, Suani here gives 500 attack and defense when used as a material for a synchro summon. Very powerful. They also have one last effect, and that's on my opponent's turn during the main phase or the battle phase. I can activate the effect on any of these non-tuners, and as soon as that effect resolves, I can synchro summon a monster from my extra deck. So it's very cool. In my last video, I said that effect gets around Black Horn of Heaven, but I've actually had it ruled on by head judges in my area. A very well-renowned judge in my area named David Yao pretty much said the way it's worded, immediately after this card effects perform a synchro summon, that means they can actually Black Horn it when it comes out. Thunder King. And I know a lot of people will probably argue with me on that. I didn't believe it at first because it's like, well, the effect is what's making the synchro summon come out, so I thought you couldn't do that. But actually, the way it's worded, you can't actually Black Horn of Heaven it. But let's not talk about that for right now. If you have any questions about that actual ruling and how it was ruled, you guys can just message me or leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to respond. So again, they all have those three effects. They can, when they get destroyed, they special summon another. They each have a beneficial buff, and they allow me to synchro summon on my opponent's turn using Yang Zing monsters. So we have three of these. These are Suani's, 1900 attack, 0 defense, best beat stick you have in the main deck, and just a great card. One last thing to note is that whenever they're destroyed and special summon another one, they have either attack position or defense position requirements for the monster they're summoning in. So a good way to think about it is the ones with 0 defense have to special summon in defense mode. The ones with 0 attack have to special summon in attack mode. That seems like a small detail, but if your opponent's crashing into your monsters, you're not going to want to special summon one of the 0 attack monsters in attack mode unless you absolutely have to. So keep in mind, again, 0 defense means the special summons defense mode, 0 attack means that it special summons in attack mode. So these first two guys, special summon defense position Yang Zings. Next one's Beyond. We're not going to talk about all the effects because they're basically the same except for the buff that they give. 3-star Earth in this case. And this guy makes it to where your monster can't be destroyed by battle. It becomes really effective when sometimes you need to wall up. I'll special summon a Balmung in defense position my opponent's turn, and I usually buy me a turn or two. It can't be destroyed by battle, and if destroyed by a card effect, it gets a special summon. It's really good. So we're running 3 of these. Next is Bixie, and Bixie is a card I used to run at 2. It makes you trap immune, but since I started playing Skill Drain in the deck and I'm playing 3, I'm running 3 Bixie. Bixie, again, makes your monster trap immune, and what you have to understand is that all these beneficial buffs that these cards give, they last through Skill Drain, because the monster that's being special summoned with the buffs, it's actually not their effect that's giving them these special properties, it's the cards that were sent. So you get all the buffs through Skill Drain, but actually if you use Bixie to special summon one of these guys, or any monster, it's also trap immune. That means that it can still use its effect. So all of a sudden you're shutting off your opponent's effects, but you're still using yours if you special summon with Bixie. I gave Bixie a special spot in my deck, and I'm still running her at 3, or him at 3. He's got a beard, I guess it's a he. This one has 0 attack. That means when he is destroyed, he has to special summon in attack mode. So keep that in mind. Next is Chiwin, whatever you want to call him. This is our light tuner, and he's got 0 attack and 0 defense. So whenever he's destroyed, he can actually do either or, defense or attack, so he's kind of versatile like that. He doesn't have the effect that lets you to special summon your opponent's turn. All the non-tuners do. This guy's the tuner. He does have a cool effect though, that whenever he's in the graveyard and one of your guys effects go off in the graveyard, his effect activates to bring himself back out of the graveyard. So if you get him in the graveyard, and when he gets destroyed, you actually get an additional monster in the form of Chaiwen. Now, when he goes to the graveyard after using that effect to come out of the graveyard, he then gets removed from play. So it's an awesome card, has nice recursion. I was running 2 for a long time, but then I was finding out that I was running out of Chaiwens in like longer matches when it gets removed. Obviously, I can't bring him back out of the graveyard, so I went up to 3. Next is kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Yang Zings. We got Puao here. He's a non-tuner. He's only level 1, and he makes your monsters immune to spells, which is good. Not great, but a lot of times he just fills spots. You know, oh, I need one more level to hit level 8. Let me see what I can do to get this guy out there and go into it. He's another 0 attacker, so he has to special summon in attack mode when he's destroyed. He's just a good filler card. I think you need to run at least 1 because sometimes you just need to make the numbers on the field. Being immune to spells is cool and all, but really outside of like Dark Hole, Lance, you know, Chalice, things like that, and Mind Control, you're not really too fearful of spell cards. So we're just going to run the 1 of Puao, and that's it for all the Yang Zings. So 1 Puao, and pretty much 3 of all the other main deck guys. Next we have a personal preference card. I have 2 Masked Kameleons, and Beyond, which is the level 3, and level 3 here, and Suwani, the level 4, are viable targets for this guy. So if I have a level 5 or higher monster, I can't normal summon him, which really sucks, because basically if I'm winning, I can't win more with Kameleon. But what he does is he allows me to have a 1-card Baxia play, which is our bounce monster, which we've already talked about in the other video. If you didn't catch that one, we'll talk about it later. It also gives us any 1-card level 8, and you can only synchro with this card, which is another important thing. Or we can get to like an instant Black Rose if you get out Beyond. So he special summons a monster with 0 attack out of the graveyard, and then you have to synchro. You can only synchro the rest of the turn. So great card. Nice cohesion with the deck. I am running skill drains, so I mean the skill drains out, and I sort of summon this guy. All he is a level 4 tuner, but this is I like this guy late game. A lot of times the game state will break down, and you may end up top decking with your opponent, doing things like that. And that's when Kameleon, even if you get him early, I like to save him until like I absolutely need him. And he's sealed many games for me, just doing a one spin Baxia. Again, we'll talk about that later. Just a good card. Next we have Junk Synchron. Junk Synchron, like Kameleon, lets us special summon out of the graveyard, lets us extend plays. He also gives me, since he's a Dark Tuner, gives me the ability to go into a Beals, because you need a Dark Tuner for Beals, and until the next set, the Yang Zings don't have a themed one. So any of these 3 monsters are actually legal targets for Junk Synchron. Really the only one you're going to see, you know, instant gratification for is going to be Bixie here, because you can get into a Trap Immune level 5 Synchro. But you could also, you know, just bring in another tuner for an explosion of doing whatever, or just another non-tuner. I mean, I have summoned all 3 of these cards at different times off this card. There's some builds that are dedicated to Junk Synchron. They'll run 3 Junk Synchron and then like double Armades and things like that in the extra deck. It's not bad. I do have an Ultra coming in the mail. If you notice, the cards that don't normally come hollow, or the ones I don't have hollow yet, I have hollow eyes with my hollow sheets. So that's it for the main monsters. I'll go backwards through them. We got the double Junk Synchron, excuse me, the single Junk Synchron, the double Kameleon, the triple Chaiwen here, triple Bixie, triple Beyond, and triple Suwani for our main deck monsters. I was running. Oh, did I not? I don't think I talked about Archfiend Eater. There he is. We also were running 1 Archfiend Eater of Nefariousness, Nefarious Archfiend Eater of Nefariousness. And what he does is, if he's in my graveyard during my opponent's end phase, he can special summon himself out, and by destroying 1 face-up card on my field. So it's actually worded, I think, in if you do special summon out, so you don't miss the timing on the effect. So say this is the situation I'm looking at. I have this on my field. My opponent doesn't want to attack into him, doesn't want to let my effects go off, but I have Archfiend Eater. During the end phase of their turn, I special summon Archfiend Eater by destroying Suwani, and now get a Suwani Surge. So it makes it to where your opponent has to actually do things. They can't just sit and not attack your monster, so they have ways to deal with it, because I'm going to get my effects off anyway with Archfiend Eater. He's also a good material monster. I was running Mathematician to help him get in the graveyard more, but I found out that I didn't really want to waste my normal summon on Mathematician. This deck, even though it does a lot of floating, it's actually kind of normal summon reliant. So I'm just playing the one Archfiend Eater. Hopefully I don't draw him. I do run one Foolish Burial. That's really the only way I have to reliably get him in the graveyard. But when he's in the graveyard early, you're probably winning at that point, because he just allows your plays to go off without your opponent's interaction. So it's really good. So that's the main deck monsters. Next we have 3 Yang Zing Path. While this card is the hardest one to get out of the Yang Zings, it requires pretty much the least amount of explanation. I spin 3 Yang Zing monsters from my graveyard back into my deck, and then I draw 2 cards. It gives us the ability to constantly get out the material, use all the material, and just reload our deck, reload our Baxias, reload everything. And I've seen people running 2. I know in the Japanese list they only run 2, but I'm pretty much swearing by 3 at this point. Next we have Triple Pot of Duality. Duality doesn't really need much of an explanation. In this deck I'm finding that Duality first turn, then set a Yang Zing is a totally acceptable play, and a play that I make a lot. And I think Duality really smooths the deck out. You don't need the actual speed. Sometimes you just need 1 or 2 turns to set up, which is kind of the knock on the deck, why it's not being considered meta, is because it does require those 1 to 2 turns to set up before you really start going off. Mind Control. Any deck that I run multiple tuners in, I will run Mind Control. Mind Control is one of those cards that, as all the cards in the game get better, so does Mind Control. And again, pretty much if I'm Mind Controlling your big boss monster, I can use its effect, and I can synchro with it. It's just good. 1 Dark Hole. Like I said in my other video, I can use Dark Hole offensively, even if you don't have any monsters on your side of the field. And I have like a Reincarnation, which is my trap card. I can just Dark Hole and plus off my own Dark Hole. You don't really want to do that. You'd rather take some of your monsters down with it, your opponent's monsters down, in order to get the effects off. But I mean, it's an enabler for your combos, and also a field clear, so you're going to run it. 1 Soul Charge. I'm finding with the amount of like thinning that the deck has, the dualities and things like that, and the natural thinning that the monsters do, I see Soul Charge pretty much every game, because I'm drawing so many cards out of my deck, hitting them with dualities, things like that. That I don't think double Soul Charge is really needed. I don't want to continually be activating Soul Charge in this deck. You can, and it's not a bad thing to do, but I'm finding 1 Soul Charge to be beneficial and working really well for me, so I'm going to keep it at 1. Foolish Burial. This card is mainly in here to dump Archfiend Eater as early as possible, but also it can dump missing combo pieces, Chaiwins to the graveyard. If you have a Kameleon, you can dump a a Siwani or a Beyond. If you have a Junk Synchron, any of the lower level guys. So we're running 1 Foolish Burial. And that's it for for spells. So next we have 3 Yang Zing Creation. This is the card I really think the deck lives and dies by. The big plays that the deck can make are made off of creation. And it's basically whenever one of these effects go off in the graveyard to special summon another one, this card effect will activate and it'll allow you to special summon an additional one in attack or defense mode. So you can run, if you have 2 flipped over, you'll get 2 additional special summons. If you have 3, if that happens, you'll get 3. I mean, it gives you the natural plussing that the deck needs in order to survive. And if I get this card out early and I get even just 1 summon off of it, I'm usually winning at that point. So we're going to run the 3. This card has been getting hit by like blind MSTs all weekend. It's been so annoying, but it's okay. We need the card. We need it in 3s, so we're going to run 3. Next is Skill Drain. I've already told you how the deck kind of deals with Skill Drain if you summon with Bixie, but also all of the floating effects that activate in the graveyard get around Skill Drain. So you're going to do a lot of harm to your opponent. All of a sudden their Shadow, their Minrash isn't shredding off your stuff anymore. All of a sudden their Teleknights can't go through the deck and search out everything. We all know why Skill Drain's good and what it's good against, and 3 in the main deck is absolutely imperative. So I'm running 3. Some people are running none. I mean, I'm saying it's absolutely imperative, but not everyone's running them. So I was running 2 for a while, but it shits on so many decks just naturally that I bumped it up to 3. Next we have Needle Sealing. I just realized I didn't put hollow sheets in these. I think they come as Battle Pack Starfoils. I may have to pick those up. Anyway, if the monster count is 4 or higher, I can flip those up and destroy all face-up monsters. So obviously it's like a baby torrential that helps me initiate my plays and clear my opponent's board. I was playing 1 for a while. I bumped it up to 2, and I'm loving it. And then we have just some 1-ofs, Compulse, Warning, Torrential, Bottomless, and then just 1 Call of the Haunted. And the 1 Call of the Haunted is just kind of a tech choice, but it's working out really well for me so far. So we'll go backwards through the deck. We'll get to the extra deck. Looks like my camera's about to die here in probably about 5 to 10 minutes. So let's finish this up. That's the main deck. This is not the only way to run Yang Zings. It's just the way I've decided to play them. So a lot of people are running Supply Squad, and I'm finding that I don't want to draw into my Yang Zings. I'd rather than be pulled out of the deck if I'm already have an established board. So when I was playing it, I was actually finding that I was just drawing into the cards I did not want to see in my hand. A lot of people, I mean, will agree that, you know, Supply Squad at this point in the game just has really fallen short of what everyone's expectations are. And in this deck, I'm not seeing a huge use for it. I'm not saying it's bad by any means. It has its applications, but I'm having a hard time with deck space anyway, and it was an easy card to cut. I would definitely recommend Duality over Supply Squad. Let's go over the extra deck real quick. Really the only 2 that I'm going to explain is Baxia. Baxia, when I special summon it out, it has to use worm type non-tuner monsters, and so I can use like a chameleon and a worm type monster to bring it out, but the materials have to be worms. The tuner doesn't, but the materials have to be. And each different attribute of worm type that was used, you could actually get to target 1 card on your opponent's side of the field and spin it back into the deck. They have to add it back to their deck and shuffle. It's not going to the graveyard. It's not getting removed from play. It's gone. I mean, it's back in the deck. It's kind of like Wiretap. You know, it just puts. I mean, they can still use the card later, but a lot of times you're hitting, you know, Synchros and Exceeds, and they're just gone after that. So you can gain huge advantage just off of that effect. But he also has another effect that you can destroy a card on your side of the field to special summon a level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard. So I don't really need to show you what the combos are, but if you destroy Yang Zing, you're going to get your Yang Zing special summon, and you're also going to get that other card out of the graveyard, and if you have a Chion in your graveyard, you're going to get that special summon. So he's actually a really amazing, great boss monster. Some people will play 3. I don't think you need 3 because Creation exists, and Creation will recycle him back into your extra deck if you're actually running out. So I am running 2 Baxias, and then we'll just go through these real quick. And just remember, I can special summon some of these cards on my opponent's side of the field, and they have like everlasting effects when they're over there. Baxia being another one. I can special summon my opponent's turn, and it's going to do a lot of damage. So Leo, Mistworm, a Mistworm on your opponent's turn is going to be game breaking. We do run the Junk Synchron, so we can make Beals. Beals won me a game today. Crimson Blader, this is a card that I'm kind of iffy on, and you could definitely cut it if you prefer to play like a Star Eater or a Ancient Sacred Wyvern, which I might actually end up swapping this for an Ancient Sacred Wyvern. I need a good, strong level 7 that isn't Black Rose Dragon. Scrap Dragon, Stardust Dragon, and just think that when I Synchro Summon, say, Stardust, using this as a material, it's a 3k attack Stardust Dragon. I mean, just think of the applications that has for the deck. Black Rose Dragon, Goyo Guardian. All of a sudden we have a 3300 attack Goyo Guardian that's taken, you know, all their big monsters. You're taking Star Eaters and crap like that. It's amazing. Vulcan the Divine, Armades. I might actually like bumping this card up to 2. He's just a really good card. Maybe if I decide to play another Junk Synchron, I'll get another Armades. We'll talk about Catastor, just a great level 5, and then Samsara Dragon. Samsara is the new guy, and if he's destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard by card effect, it's a monster reborn. So really, really good card by your opponent's card effect. You can't blow it up yourself, sadly, but just really great. And then Balmung, sometimes you just need to wall up with like a Chaiwin and a Beyond, and then you get a battle immune Balmung. You just put in defense mode and sit on it for a while, because if they destroy it by a card effect, you're going to get a special summon. So really good application there. So that's the extra deck. And I think I already talked about the Black Horn of Heaven ruling. It's I didn't think that was the way it worked. I thought the deck got around Black Horn of Heaven It turns out I was wrong. The deck does get by Black Horn of Heaven if you Synchro Summon on Chain Link 2 or higher. So if you Synchro Summon in response to something, it'll get around Black Horn of Heaven. But if you say Special Summon this guy as Chain Link 2 or higher, if you Synchro it, he's going to miss the timing because he has timing issues with his effect. It's when he's summoned, not if he's summoned. So keep all that in mind. If you have any questions or need clarifications on the ruling, just message me or put a question about it in the comment section below. I have a very quick rundown on my side deck, and I'm not even really proud of this. I'll probably just show you that I'm siding into 3 MSTs. They're not just gone forever. MSTs, obviously, if you're not running them in the main deck, you need to put them in the side, and people will be able to side for you. So the rest of the stuff I'm not really comfortable with, not because I don't want you to see what I'm playing, but basically because I haven't done enough research on what's going to be being played at my locals or the current meta to really constitute any choices other than the MSTs. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, just let me know. Again, this is not the only way to run the deck. I know people are seeing success with their supply squads and things like that. But as someone who's been playing the deck for the last few months, I would hope that you just take my my word for what it is. It's my word. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll do an update if my build changes. I'm going to be playing Yang Zings for a while, just a fair warning to the channel. I plan on playing them for a while. In order to get the deck, I traded a lot of my stable rank 4s and things like that, so I'm actually kind of left with not very much other than my Yang Zings. But if you like Yang Zings, stay subscribed to the channel. If you hate Yang Zings, it may be a long couple months for you, because we're going to be playing them into the next set. The next set, the deck gets even better. So hope to see you guys around. Thank you for joining me. Please like, comment, subscribe. I love reading comments. I'm never going to ask you to click an ad. You don't have to do any of that, but I do appreciate you guys. Thank you.